Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
I was in my early 20s, pouring every ounce of my passion and savings into building my digital art career. My sanctuary was a small, private studio unit I rented in a supposedly high-security storage facility called Secure Vault Solutions. It wasn't cheap, but it offered climate control and 24/7 access, perfect for my custom-built digital art tablet, a device I had spent 3 years assembling piece by piece, calibrated perfectly for my workflow. It was my livelihood. Then one Tuesday, I walked into my unit and felt a cold dread. The lock was intact, but my tablet, usually sitting on its charging stand, was gone. Vanished. I knew I hadn't left the door ajar. I hadn't shared my access codes with anyone. I immediately reported it to Philip Sterling, the facility manager. He was dismissive, almost sneering. "Are you sure you didn't just misplace it? Or maybe a friend borrowed it?" When I insisted it was stolen, he blamed me for lax security practices, charged me a ridiculous $200 for a lock change, and outright refused to review the surveillance footage without a police report, implying I was wasting his time. The tablet was worth over $3,000, and without it, I couldn't complete a major commission, costing me thousands in lost income and damaging my professional reputation. I felt violated, powerless, and furious. I went to the local precinct, but the patrol officer just took a report. No real urgency. That is when I called Sergeant Brooks, a retired police detective and a close family friend. He listened patiently, then his voice hardened. "They think they can just brush you off, huh? Let's give them something they can't ignore." He came over, looked at my empty studio, and a wicked glint appeared in his eye. "We need bait, something valuable, undeniable, and truly trackable." Our plan was simple but bold. I was to acquire a prototype custom-built drone, a high-tech marvel I claimed to be developing for a tech startup. It wasn't real, of course, but Sergeant Brooks had rigged a commercially available drone with a sophisticated GPS tracker and given it a convincing backstory. Its value was intentionally set north of $2,000 to push any theft into felony territory. My job was to make sure everyone knew it was there, to casually mention my groundbreaking new project to other tenants, to subtly hint at its presence in my studio, to let the rumor mill do its work. For a week, I played my part. I would walk into Secure Vault Solutions with a knowing smile, drop comments about final tests on my revolutionary flight system, and occasionally leave my unit door slightly ajar for a few moments while I was organizing, just enough for a glimpse of the sleek, futuristic drone package within. I made sure Philip Sterling himself overheard me talking excitedly on my phone about a potential multi-million-dollar investment deal hinged on this prototype. 3 days after placing the drone, I got a text from Sergeant Brooks. "Is it gone?" I raced to my unit. The lock was still in place, but the drone, its carrying case, and even a small toolbox I used for my art supplies were missing. I called Sergeant Brooks immediately. "It is gone," I whispered, a mix of fear and adrenaline coursing through me. "Excellent," he said calmly. "The tracker is active. Give me 30 minutes. And remember, you had only just reported this to the police." The next morning, Sergeant Brooks, now in full uniform despite being retired, he had connections, strode into Secure Vault Solutions with 2 active-duty officers. Philip Sterling initially tried his usual dismissive routine, but the sight of official badges changed his tune. They didn't just ask for footage. They produced a warrant based on the GPS coordinates leading to a residential address, the home of Clara Dixon, Dale Dixon's aunt, who worked part-time as a cleaner and assistant at Secure Vault. Dale, a casual acquaintance I had seen around the facility, was her nephew. The facility's secure access codes had been compromised. The raid on Clara Dixon's house was swift. Not only did they find my drone prototype, but tucked away in Dale's bedroom, they found my custom art tablet. And not just mine, a trove of other stolen valuables. High-end camera gear, expensive tools, antique collectibles, all taken from other Secure Vault units. The operation was far more extensive than anyone imagined. The next day, Sergeant Brooks set up a small tent and table just outside Secure Vault Solutions with a banner that read, "Stolen from SECURVULT? Report IT here." The line stretched down the block. The sheer volume of stolen goods and the number of victims was staggering. Over the next few days, Dale and Clara Dixon were charged with multiple felonies, including grand theft, possession of stolen property, and conspiracy. It turned out Clara had been using her access codes to scout units, then providing Dale with specific times and tricks to bypass the security, sometimes even leaving a side door unsecured. My bait drone, with its $2,000 plus valuation, pushed several of Dale's individual thefts into felony territory. My original art tablet, recovered and thankfully undamaged, added another felony to his growing list. Dale Dixon ultimately faced 12 felony charges and 40 misdemeanor charges, leading to a decade in state prison. Clara Dixon, his aunt and accomplice, received an even harsher sentence, 15 years for her role in facilitating the thefts and her abuse of trust. She was denied parole for misusing her position of authority and betraying the facility's clients. Philip Sterling, the facility manager who had been so arrogant and dismissive, was summarily fired within a week for gross negligence and obstruction of justice. The local news had a field day with the story. The ultimate blow to Secure Vault Solutions came in the form of a class action lawsuit filed by over 250 victims. They sued for negligence, for failing to secure their property, and for charging clients for lock changes on units that were demonstrably compromised by an inside job. The facility, after legal fees, was forced to pay out millions in damages and compensation, nearly bankrupting the local franchise. They changed their name and ownership shortly after, but the stain on their reputation lingered. Watching Dale and Clara get their sentences and seeing Secure Vault Solutions crumble was more satisfying than any commission I had ever landed. Some losses can be transformed into the greatest victories, especially when you have someone like Sergeant Brooks in your corner.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.